Hello? Okay.
Whoopsies. Welcome back to another episode of WittyBantr. Your hosts, Nabil and Daniel, are here.
No guests, no Anika.
No one. We've been playing Truck Simulator recently. Pretty neat game where Daniel has a steering wheel and an accelerator pedal and brakes and gear shifters, and you can drive trucks and earn money in the virtual world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's detailed to many degrees.
I feel like if you explain it, it doesn't seem very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, because it's really just truck driving, but it's managing. I don't know, something about driving, something about actually driving trucks in a video game is pretty fun.
Yeah, and then you're managing your income kind of funds.
Yep, you can hire additional drivers to make more money.
Mm-hmm. It's oddly calming. So
yeah, that too.
I related it to like Grand Theft Auto when I was doing
Money
import
runs.
Export, like just taking cars, delivering them, and then going back to my other businesses and making money.
Yeah.
Or having the.
Wouldn't it be interesting, like with Truck Simulator, if somehow that's how people could drive trucks? You know what I mean? Then you open the door for like how many people can do truck driving.
Right.
And not even that, just don't even limit it to that. Open that up to all sorts of different types of work.
Right.
One day, if you want, you can be a truck driver. The next day, you could be a
airplane.
Yeah. Well, maybe those ones that require.
Well, even truck driving. If there's other people on the road, I don't think people would feel easy about, someone remotely driving the car, because you're not putting yourself at any risk driving at home.
Yeah,
well, you're putting other people.
Well, it would be
like if you got in an accident, it's like, oh, the truck's dead. But like,
no. But in this, it would be tied to you would get charged for
murder
or whatever. I mean, it's like similar to drones, right? You can't fly a drone over an airport and be like, no, it wasn't me. That's a remote thing.
Right, but that's illegal. You can't.
Right, that's my point, though. So you can make crashing into someone with your remote vehicle.
Right, or you can make the remote vehicle illegal, like doing it illegal.
Well, then I can't. I mean, then my idea is down the drain.
Because if, I get what you're saying, you could still apply the same laws that you do in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the risk element is still taken away from it if you're driving at home.
Wow, how?
Because you're not putting your own life at risk like other drivers are, and you're still putting the same risk of being a human driver, right? So like you could make the argument, oh well, what about robotic cars? Well, those are arguably, or I guess proven, more safe than human drivers. But if you remove the element of putting your own life at risk, but you're still putting the risk of being a human driver in the real world, I guess you could argue that's unfair.
Well, but it doesn't even matter, because if you crash, you crash. You're going to get charged with whatever. It doesn't matter.
But if you crash, so here's the thing. If you crash, you could be charged just as you were, if
you were actually there and crashed.
But there's two things. One, you wouldn't be injured. You're not putting yourself at risk of injuring yourself.
Well, so if anything, that's a benefit.
So it's a benefit for the driver.
Well, it's a benefit in the whole situation, but continue.
Here's why it isn't. Because if you're working remotely, you could tune yourself out, or, I mean, you could do that while you're driving too, but it's easier to do that because you're not putting yourself in the situation, right? Like, it would be like you would be acting negligently.
I mean, you could do that in real life.
No, but here would be the difference. It would be like if I was in the army, my senses are probably going to be more heightened if I'm actually in the war zone than if I'm fighting remotely.
Yeah, maybe.
Right?
But you're going into that with that understanding. So you can't use that as a... I mean, you're still going to... It doesn't matter. Whatever actions you do remotely, you're going to suffer the same consequences. So you're still not putting, since you're not putting yourself at risk, it's unfair to other drivers because you're still putting the risk of
again, of having human driver, but if you get an accident, you don't get hurt at all.
If I get hit by a truck driver, I don't care if he died or if he got out without a scratch. I want him to pay my medical bills. Why does it matter what happened to him in this situation?
So two things. One, I'm annoyed now because if that truck driver was actually in the car, I feel that there would have been at least higher chance of him being more capable or more, have more visibility or be more aware. The second thing is...
Time out. I'm assuming at this technology, if anything, you have more visibility than you do in real life. You have a bunch of different cameras everywhere. You have sensors telling you beep, beep, beep,
right,
beep.
Well, we're assuming they're in the accident, so that you could say that, but...
Yeah, no, I'm
but
assuming
they still
that...
got in an accident.
Right, correct. Right? But I'm assuming that they have way more visibility. Granted, the accident still happened, but they have more visibility in this than they would just sitting with two mirrors.
Or, well,
so
I mean, they could also...
That's the understanding you should have when you're analyzing this.
They could also have, which they are actually doing now, is having multiple cameras throughout the vehicle. So you still have the same setup that you would here.
Right.
But, again, you're actually in the truck. So you still have the visibility of having multiple cameras and seeing, side by side. But again, you're in the actual situation. But the other thing is like, okay, if I think humans in general are inherently more capable of doing risky maneuvers if they don't have anything to risk in like, the physical sense. Like you're more likely to do a risky maneuver in a game.
Well, I wouldn't go that far because remember, the game. Yes, I know it's not connected to real life, but if there was such a thing that was connected to real life, and it's not like graphical, it's like cameras where I can see real life people.
Right.
I mean, I get your point to an extent, but in this situation, again, you're assuming that risk of. So if you're going to be negligent, I mean.
Yeah. Well, this is what I'm just saying. It's like the risk is the same whether you're there or not. Like.
Yeah.
Because you're, driving here or driving in the car, you're still human. So you're not as smart as a computer. You can't, autonomously drive and be aware like a robot can. Mm-hmm. So the risk you're putting on other people is equal whether you're in the car or not. The argument is that if you're not in the car, and you do get in an accident, you could still be penalized the same way, but it's unfair that, now I don't have my legs, but you still have your legs.
You can't, in any situation, let's say you were there and you got in a car accident and he didn't have his legs broken, you don't get to say, it's that's not true. Fair.
Right, that's true.
I mean, that's like saying in a murder case.
And then they still prosecute him, though. Like
no, correct. But that's like saying in a murder case, that's not fair. You killed my kid and now let's say you have kids and your kids are alive. I want your kids to die. That's not allowed.
But the difference is, in this case, there's zero chance of you.
So if anything,
of you harming yourself for your own mistake.
In a macro level, that's a benefit. In a macro scale, if you're looking at it as a third person, what do you want in an accident? At best, you want no one to get hurt.
Right.
And let's just say there's damage to the car. So in this situation, you're removing one guy from getting hurt, which is a benefit. He still gets charged for whatever he did, but just because he's not there, so it was not fair that he didn't get a chance to break his legs. Like that's not an argument.
Well, then you're going through the morality argument of like, okay, if a criminal commits a crime, isn't it better to just like rehabilitate him and keep him in society, or should he be punished for his crimes?
I think undeniably that one is the more logical. Now it might not feel good, but if you want to, from a macro level, third person, manage a society, I think the correct answer is rehabilitation.
Right. But in the driving scenario, I guess it's like, I guess it's the same situation, but...
and again, this would be a cool idea. And obviously the best idea is just it to be automated where it's a computer making all the decisions.
Right. I think that's more likely to go because... There's no reason for it.
I don't think the middle step is definitely going to be, in any field with automation, is human assistance. So I
Right.
think humans are gonna be needed to help guide the automated systems.
Right.
So this kind of thing could be you're on your computer and all right, today I want to be a truck driver. For the most part, it's automated, but you have to guide it. And of course, you'll have some sort of profile or portfolio that logs. Maybe you need to do like 10,000 practice runs before you can do one that's actually in the real world,
Right.
just like a pilot would to fly a plane.
Well, what's cool is they already have that. I guess they're not sponsoring us, but Keep Truckin' is the app where it's like you can one, monitor your own drivers, but you can also have your own team, like basically call in and say, hey, look, it looks like the brake on whatever rear side is damaged. You need to get that fixed. Or if they just got in an accident, they can review the footage of like, okay, it looks like, this was our truck driver's fault, so let's get the legal team set up. So they already have similar systems in place. It's more of like if they have that implemented, which is good because then it's like, okay, well now they're more efficient, they are more accountable because they're able to record it all, and they're safer because now you can actually, without being the truck driver and having to like. When we're driving, we have to monitor. Okay, gas is good. Sleep is good. In this case, you could just say like, "Hey, it looks like your sleep levels are low or whatever.
Yeah,
go ahead and take a rest."
And it won't even. I mean, eventually it'll be nobody will have to even read it from a remote place. The truck will just tell you.
Right.
Well,
eventually it would be.
The truck just does everything by itself.
Yeah.
But in the interim, it could be something where it's like your sleep levels are low or something. You can sleep now, and I'll drive for you.
Right.
What else could these kind of things be applied to? Something like grocery store. Self-checkout is already a thing. It just needs to be more of a thing.
And what I was thinking? I guess this is not... Don't see this as an argument like I'm defending the... what is it called? Like not having the system of simulated driving. But I was just thinking of drone strikes. Yeah. So like... People are mad that people who do drone strikes get like Medal of Honor and stuff like that, even though they don't need to be on the battlefield.
That's baloney. They should get one.
I think it's stupid either way, but
you're using technology to accomplish a mission.
Right.
That's the same thing as you run. Gun is a technology. That's the same thing as you running in. In fact, this is smarter in. Now we're taking killing innocent lives. I'm saying, assuming that these are bad guys, undeniably. I don't see why.
I think,
and I also think these medals are silly.
Yeah, I agree. I think the medal.
This isn't a game.
But also, I think the other argument is that drone strikes are more susceptible for having casualties, like innocent live casualties.
That problem is really even before the drone gets into the picture. That problem is
the missile.
Not even that. It's the people deciding we need to attack this group of people.
Right. Well, you could say that if I sent the SEAL Team 6, they could kill Osama bin Laden rather than using a drone strike that would have just killed pretty much anyone in the building, right? Which I guess you're putting the troops at risk, but at least you're, not killing the other people in the building that might not have done something. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, no, yeah. Well, I'm not saying with the drone strikes, I'm not saying that wouldn't even be an option. Right. If there's a target and then there's innocent people, truly innocent people around them, there is not an option where you send a missile. That might be the case. Like
where you
the
send
people
the
are,
troops,
in fact, there should be, maybe not now, but there should be a time where there's drones that can
shoot like
or smaller ones, and then you could just like go into a room like a bee and just shoot like some poison darts or something, which is just like that Black Mirror episode kind of.
Yeah, with the bees. But yeah, we'll see, I guess.
Yeah. Again, all these the big questions with these is like, I guess, morality questions and
how much are you willing to, I guess, risk to progress the technology?
Yeah. So I was thinking like grocery stores, what could you do?
with it like automated.
Yeah. I mean, the self-checkout thing's kind of
Already
already
there. Yeah.
there.
Well, Amazon's taking it one step further, where you like walk out of the store.
Oh, yeah. You just pick
You
up the
just-
stuff
yeah.
and you'll get charged. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Man, that would be great. That would
Yeah.
really...
Well, they already have them in a
Right.
few places.
Right.
But yeah, yeah. Seriously, you don't have to wait in line anymore.
Yeah. What else is there? DMV, man. They need something. Well, everything should
Yeah.
just be online for that. Paperwork stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, scan a passport or I don't know.
Even license plate thing.
Yeah, that should all be done
everything.
online. Yeah.
Um.
But what's funny is those things aren't going to... The government stuff, I have no faith in. Like getting up to speed.
Yeah. Yeah. Technology-wise, because there's no incentive.
Yeah, exactly.
Um.
Interesting. Yeah, what else is there? Yeah, I don't know. I like that idea though of like
Being able to do.
and then yeah, just do whatever you want.
Mm.
And essentially it's like playing a game.
Yeah, I wonder how actual truck driving would be. Like, it's obviously going to
Probably
be very
boring.
different, but yeah, I can imagine.
Boring and well, I bet you the pay is not that great.
Yeah.
Um
Although maybe it's getting better because of like all the Amazon shipments and stuff.
Maybe. I doubt it though for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, when they automate it, then for sure it'll go down the.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how lucrative that career would be, considering you're just like away from your family or whatever
Yeah.
for like months on end.
Yeah, anything that is easily repeated, like driving a truck. I mean, granted, there has some skill involved with driving such a big thing as opposed to a car, but I think that learning curve is not that steep.
Right.
Once you do it for 6 months or something, then I think you could get the hang of it. Yeah, I guess I wonder when the shift where everybody will, I mean, this is probably out of our lifetime, but there'll be a time where everything is kind of software based and most the manual labor stuff is
Gone.
replaced with software. And I wonder how society will shift and if humans are ready to be like,
I think it'll be more of a monitoring thing. Like, I think
there'll be
just
two
think-
jobs. There'll be software teams and like assist, I don't even know what you call it, like humans who assist automated systems. So like as I was saying with the truck thing, we're not going to go from now to fully automated trucks. There's going to be a huge in between of human assisting these systems.
Right. I still think.
So I think there'll be two. It'll be like software developers, the architects, who are managing that, and then there's the people who are doing manual stuff, but it's more tech related, where it's like you're helping the system work, and you're logging things that you've noticed, and then maybe you report back to the software guys and be like, hey, this is what we need to fix or whatever. And again, I'm thinking this is like in 100, 200 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. It'll start in 100 years, and the process will go on for, I don't know, until it gets...
I still think they'll have customer service related jobs. Like, maybe not in retail, but like I still think they're going to have call centers for, speaking to humans, unless they perfect the art of robotic voice.
What do they have call centers for right now?
Resolving any issues. So like,
let's take a specific example.
Like a defective product.
Your laptop.
Yeah.
Could that not have been processed through...
It could have, but the company still wants to make sure no one's abusing the system. Like,
but why
what if I say, it's broken, it's not working, and then the robot's like, you need to do these steps, and then I just say, yep, I've done them.
I mean, that.
But
could
but I didn't.
Okay, well, what if you said that to a human? What if you said, yeah, I did them? What are they gonna say back? No.
Yeah, they'll say, just do it again.
Okay, so you can tell the robot to do it again.
Yeah, And then they would, I guess, ship it to the repair center.
They would tell you to ship it to the repair center.
Yeah.
So the computer can do that. Say ship it to the repair center. Here's your shipping label. What's the next step?
Well, here's the thing. Again, the thing they would need to fix is like because I mean already we can all talk to robots and get a lot of the issues fixed.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that it's not as efficient as talking to a person. At least I've found. Whenever I call a customer service thing and they're like, press 1 to do this.
I agree. It's not at the right stage. But I think that can be automated though.
Yeah. I think so. But not in 100 years, I don't think. But we'll see.
I think, yeah. I don't know. I guess it depends what field we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I think though in general, like those kind of jobs, the call center jobs, will go away. Anything where it's like, I mean, it's essentially you're a middleman.
Right.
You're referring to some sort of technical docs, and you're looking at the customer and just translating that for them.
I think anything and everything will be.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying these are more complex things like surgeries might take longer than automating like a call center for your phone. Because a call center for your phone, they already, at the call center, you kind of have, when you're the guy, the representative, you have a kind of to-do list of things to ask the customer. Hey, did you do this? Did you do that? Did you do this?
Yeah.
And then, okay, if they did, all that, and they're still having a problem, okay, send it in. So like that mini process right there is something that's relatively easy to automate. Whereas a process in a surgery, I mean, I don't know. I would imagine it would be harder. So that's why I was saying, like, I think those middleman jobs would go first before. But I agree, everything can be automated.
Yeah.
But there's definitely in between. It's not.
I mean, I guess it depends where the people see the money, right? So if, like, the automated driving thing, I feel like is coming along faster than the
automated call center.
Yeah, even though Google had the appointment thing, but I wouldn't consider that customer service. That's more of like front desk work, like as in setting an appointment.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Okay, so you want to go, at this time.
Yeah. For companies,
isn't it crazy that like automated driving seems more
like
in like the next 10 years
like an automated call center.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Especially because considering there's more liabilities with driving versus a call center. If someone screws up a call, then it's kind of like, okay, we'll escalate this.
Yeah. But I guess the challenge is deciphering humans. So like you can, I guess my guess would be it's hard for software developers to have to process every single type of customer dialogue.
Right.
Like if somebody calls in and says, hey, I need help. Or if you can't hear them, the computer might have trouble with that. Whereas if you hire some human, they'll be able to take a large amount of different scenarios. Like, hey, it's broken. And then the computer will be like, what's broken?
Yeah.
I mean, human would say that too, but I don't know. They'll be able to pull out what the real issue is.
Right.
But I don't know if you...
Well, in a way, driving's more predictable because, like, it's like, okay, if a car is coming this way, a computer can easily distinguish, all right, moving object in coming this way. How do I react?
Yeah. See, the big problem is the humans.
Yeah.
In this. Well, humans would be the same problem in the driving thing, but I guess what you're doing is analyzing human speech, which can have so many variations. Tones are a big thing. Like if somebody sounds upset, you might react differently, whereas a computer might not be able to pick up, if someone's feeling really upset or something. And I guess the bottom line is, I mean, if you got these call centers in India and you're paying them $2 an hour or whatever the rate is, if paying a software engineer $150,000 to spend time to develop that, if that's more expensive than the call center, then you'll just go with the call center.
Yeah.
As a business anyway.
Although the call centers I've been calling recently are still in the U.S.
Not really.
But I still think that's the case. Like it's more worth it to get automated driving for freight and truck because you're just able to do it around the clock.
Right.
Versus replacing, I guess $15 an hour multiplied by however many workers. I don't know. It could be better, but I think there's too many problems. There's too many products. You need to figure out human speech before you.
Well, that's a room for someone to start a new company. That's a room for some software developer out there to solve that problem, make it a service, and then you're essentially replacing the call center. So when the company's like, all right, we need a call center, you can be like, wait, you use us, we'll be cheaper and more effective or something.
And you'll still need sales reps for that unless you automate.
What do you mean?
Like, because now you have to convince a business owner. Okay, why should I implement this thing? Is it even going to work?
I guess you would need sales reps, but a far fewer amount of sales reps compared to like the number of call center representatives you would normally have hired if you didn't automate everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on my chat app right now. Not that that's automating anything, but I'm working on.
What is it used for? Just with friends?
Yeah, like it'll be kind of like Messenger? Discord, where it's like you create a group and then you.
Discord went out of for like a few weeks. Everyone was
there was actually it wasn't. Yeah, I don't think it was with AWS, but they're using a particular microservice that went down or something.
So your thing would.
Yeah, my thing is like you create a group and then you can create a link to send to people and be like, hey, here's my group, join it, and you click it and you'd sign in and then you would join the group and then you can essentially write messages to each other similarly as you would with Discord or Facebook Messenger. And the way it's designed is, again, all the functionality is done on the back end. So as a front-end developer, if you're developing an Android app or a web app, the only thing you would be concerned about is like how everything looks and how everything's laid out. But like getting all the messages for the user that's logged in the right order, all that functionality is going to be built in the back end. So like you might build a system where you can query a database to get all the groups that this signed-in user is a part of, but then the client would be responsible for putting them in the right order because you obviously, when you're looking at your groups, you want the most active ones on top.
Right.
But I want that functionality to not even, the client doesn't have to worry about that, whoever's developing it. That'll all be back end.
Okay.
So it's also a similar experience with whatever client you use, Android app, iOS app, web browser. So that's kind of the way I'm building the system.
So similar to like Messenger, Facebook Messenger, or?
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know how they've designed it. I don't know if
they've done that. Like they prioritize your most active groups above the rest. Right.
So, but I don't know if the guys who are developing the app on the phone have to order it, like put it in the right order, or if the guys who are on the closer to the database are already ordering it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like there's two scenarios. So there's two teams, okay? There's the guys who are making the Messenger Android app, and they both work for Facebook. So there's that group of guys at Facebook, and there's a group of guys at Facebook who work on storing the information in the database and creating the query for the front end guys to hit so they can get the messages.
Right.
So I don't know so basically the way I'm designing my messaging system is all functionality stuff will be on the back end guys, and the front end guys only have to worry about like aesthetics, because you could easily have it where the back end guys just say, okay, here's the functionality to get all the messages, but it's your job to put it in order and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I want my job, the backend guys, to do the whole every functionality thing.
Okay.
Because if you didn't, or let's say you have that backend guy and they're like, here's the list of messages. They're not in order, so you have to worry about that. The Android team and the iOS team might handle that differently.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how, but maybe the Android team does put them in order and the iOS team doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll create like mismatching user experience.
Right.
Whereas if the backend guys handle the ordering, then it doesn't even matter. They don't have a choice. Both guys they will get it in order, and there's no other option, which makes it easier for these guys because they don't have to think about it and they don't have to work on that code. And then as a platform or as a service as a whole, it creates
uniformity.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I imagine that's how people do it, but that's how I'm designing mine. So
Well, I wonder because like you still.
But maybe not though. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Say that again.
They still do make changes, but like I don't even think they're necessary. Maybe they are, depending on where you are. Like I've noticed different apps will always look different. Well, the only thing I can think of is the Messenger app, like how the emojis are different in like certain countries and stuff like that. Like, is there a reason for having different user interfaces? Or like, I don't think we're that much different in the way we interact, but maybe there is.
Yeah. I don't know what leads them to decide which group of emojis to select. I don't know if they do market research and say, hey, in these countries it's very popular for people to use these emojis.
Or like,
and that can be done front end or back end. So the back end guys can set different groups of emojis to specific clients in specific regions, or it could be just on the
or I guess areas where homosexuality is banned, maybe they don't have the
flags and stuff. It could be because you're trying to give them what would be
work around. So like Google,
your job is to give them a great user experience.
Yeah.
Do you draw the line at kind of homophobic groups of people?
Well, that's a controversy with Google because like they were losing market share in China because
they didn't have any Asian emojis.
No, they weren't allowing the Chinese government to censor their searches, and so there's a huge
so China blocked them.
Yeah, well, they just said like you either agree to these rules or not, and Google's like, no, we don't want to compromise our integrity.
Yeah.
But then the problem was that they have another popular Chinese search engine that's gaining a lot of traction.
Okay.
So Google was worried that they're just going to take all the market share of China. So they ended up saying like, all right, you can censor our searches. And now
why don't they just I don't understand. Why don't they just say, all right, no, we don't need China's market. You don't need the whole world. I know it's big.
Yeah.
I guess what's the end goal?
YouTube too. Yeah, I don't know.
Like it can't be
satisfy shareholders.
I guess it's a public company, so I suppose that's one thing. But it's like, who? Like
I agree. There's a certain point where it's like,
cares?
do we? Yeah. Do we?
It's
really?
like at what point? Yeah, when do you draw the line? It's
Yeah.
like, what if it's just a group of extremely racist people?
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, we'll bend over backwards. It's like,
yeah, I have a feeling it's more like boardroom type things. Like, all right, we need to increase, growth, market share, make sure our investors are getting more. We're really losing these China markets, and if we don't incorporate ourselves in there soon, we're just going to lose traction, and we'll never be able to.
Yeah.
And if they think that like, oh, the Chinese government's never going to work. Yeah, I think it's just pretty much like they want to give their shareholders their return on investment and constant growth.
This is why if I ever have a company, I'll always want to keep it private.
Oh yeah, that too.
That way, it's like I'm the only person, if I'm the CEO anyway.
Yeah.
Or the owner, I should say, that will be making those final decisions.
Yeah. Well, what's also cool is you can kind of draw the line, right? You can say like, okay, I can comfortably live on 120,000.
Yeah.
Like.
Where I guess for the public ones, you can't. It's not about can our company sustain itself. It's about these investors keep saying more. So that's
when you're publicly
traded.
Because growth is always like, oh, we need more growth.
But you know
year
what?
after year, year after year.
I mean, even with a public company,
Although
I don't understand why they can't also be balanced and be like, we're looking for long-term sustainability.
Which I guess Amazon is doing a lot.
I mean, I guess
Right.
for the longest time I heard they're always investing in infrastructure. They didn't make a profit for the longest time.
Yeah.
So in that case, if they weren't making a profit, they definitely weren't appeasing to the investors.
Right.
Unless they were smart investors and they're like, yes, invest for the long term.
Yeah. Well, I guess in Amazon's case, their end goal was still growth, right? Like they're like, oh, we need to expand. We need to expand. But just
just going from a
whole
bookstore to like cloud infrastructure
Yeah.
is a smart long-term goal.
Right. But even after that, like when now that they want to start their own freight, and get rid of the middleman there.
Buy
and
the airplanes for Prime.
And so then they're still not getting profit, but I mean, they're still growing, right? In their case. But I guess the argument we were saying was that like I guess as a private owner of a company, at what point do you say like, all right, this is enough. Like if I grow any further, I'm just going to create or a higher chance of more problems. And it's just going to be annoying. And at that point, I think you have to go public if your idea is constant growth, right?
Oh, you're saying if you want to grow, but you're saying you can't grow because it'll hurt you, so that's why you should go public?
Or like it would just be too stressful because like you don't know how you're going to get funding to
the only problem the only problem I have with going public is that essentially the company's not yours anymore. Which, and because then people can literally vote you out of your own company.
Like Papa John.
Yeah. And it's like, what's the point? I mean, I guess he's still an owner, or he still, I assume, owns like shares. So you're making money, but again, money is only gonna, if you're so interested in this business, like that's like a bad move then. Because you're making millions of dollars, but if you really cared about the business and you were interested in it, and that's why you woke up every morning, then I don't know.
Yeah, well, I guess if you get like obsessed with just world domination or whatever.
But the funny thing is,
like, you're putting the risk on yourself that you could get voted out, but I think.
But you're not even. It's like world domination. It's like you're not even the owner of the company anymore. You're a co-owner.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like, even if you wanted to be a world domination type thing, I would stick with a private one, because then you will be the one, if you do take over with your private company, that owns all of it.
Right. Imagine that's what Elon is probably going through with his company.
I don't think they're like, I want to dominate the world.
No,
I think they're genuinely interested in like, I want to go farm asteroids. I want to go to Mars and figure out how we can put people on there to create new societies. Like, I don't think it's like a, I want to dominate. I think it's like,
I think the issue,
I have the power to do this, and this is a good idea. I know it, and I'm going to do it.
But I think the issue he is running into is like, I want to, accomplish these big goals of going into Mars and, having all these crazy infrastructures put in place. But the issue he was having was probably, or I'm guessing, was not having enough money to invest in that in the first place. So that's why he went public. But then the issue is like, okay, now these investors want me to do this, and I don't want to do that. I want to work on, the space exploration, but they're looking more at like, oh, okay, let's see.
Tesla's separate from the SpaceX, right? So that doesn't. So
right. Well, I don't know which companies are public, but I remember there was a point where he was trying to lower the stock enough to basically buy it back.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
not sure exactly which companies are public and private, but I think his issue was.
I think SpaceX is private, Tesla's public. But it sounds like he wants it to go back to private, so he can be the only one making the decisions.
He wants Tesla to go private, yeah.
Right. Or he wanted it at one point. So I don't know if that's.
I think he just gave up on that.
Yeah.
It's probably like, all right, screw it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think. Yeah, I think it makes more sense if you can to go private. I guess the only I was gonna say the only problem with it is it's almost like a dictatorship. Not that companies govern you like legally,
Mm-hmm.
but I suppose there could be a danger on a societal level if every company was private.
Well, maybe
I guess
not,
you can,
'cause-
but governments can still come in and be like, yeah, you can't have a monopoly over these things. Because if a company becomes
I think
owns
that-
everything,
yeah.
then they can set ridiculous prices and
Yeah,
make it
yeah.
unreasonable for the people living there.
But I think those issues are more with public companies than private. Like most of the time, those big corporate companies that have monopoly problems are usually public, right?
Public. That's true. I guess because public companies naturally have more money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you go public because you need funding, you need
Yeah.
more money to expand, and so they just naturally become very big. But yeah, it'd be cool to have your own
Yeah. Well, I was thinking of like,
internet company.
yeah, or just company in general. Like,
Well,
I kind of want to either like I like digital marketing, but like I don't care as much for the clients. And I guess I've kind of brought that up earlier, where it's like, do you feel passionate about the products you're advertising?
mhm.
But I was wondering, like, if I went the route of like, okay, let me start my own roasting company or whatever,
Mhm.
or and not even do the roasting, because it clearly, from the one experience I've had,
Yeah,
like just buying it from a company and then kind of storing it in the little box we have. If I focused on advertising that and selling those products, would I feel more passionate about advertising it, or would it be the same as if I worked for a company and liked the digital marketing aspect part, but didn't like, or didn't
yeah.
like the product itself?
I mean, I think you should. I mean, I think anybody who's starting a business should always keep their job and just start it on the side and then see what happens. So
Yeah,
have your job to make you money,
right.
and then you should be setting aside some money to then spend it on, your business on the side.
Yeah,
And then one, you'll know if you like it. Two, you'll know if it can even make money. And then once it's like if you made your salary in a year with your company,
mhm.
then at that point you could be like, okay, I think I'm gonna quit my job and just do my thing full time or something.
Yeah. But I still think you could. I agree that you should only quit when, or ideally you should have like, both a company and then a thing running.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have the energy to even like do it after work, like when are you going to do it? I guess you could do it on the
Yeah.
weekends, but like
That's true.
at that point you're like, I just want to rest because I know,
That is true.
I would say
that is true, but the only problem is like if you run out of money, it doesn't even matter if you're interested in it because you can't even go anywhere.
Yeah.
So I know that it's hard when you have a job to then do stuff after, because I mean I had a job and I'd get tired and
Yeah.
I just want to lay down and watch YouTube videos. So
I would
the
say
two options is,
save money, then do it, or do both.
I mean, you could quit your job. I mean, if you're confident that you could get back into the job market after a certain amount of time, then I guess that's fine.
Yeah.
But I feel like the problem is with starting a business is like, it's about like momentum. And if you have periods of no money and you aren't able to fund your business,
Mm-hmm.
then I don't know. I just feel like it really holds you back. I mean, I guess it depends on what business, but because it's all about like burning money and then
Yeah.
just trying to figure out how to make it go.
Right.
But yeah.
But the other problem
being tired is a
is
thing, too.
like I would say like starting your business, it would be like more of a marathon thing than like all right, let's get
Oh,
like the momentum.
100%.
Yeah.
I agree, but that's what I'm saying with the momentum thing.
Yeah.
It's a marathon, not
You
a
would need
sprint. So it's like if you quit your job for a year, you're essentially sprinting for a year to see what you can do, as opposed to like, I have a job, let's start this continuum, let's start this marathon.
Right.
And you, for 5 years, you're working at your job and you're also working on this, you know, as opposed to your, all right, take a year off, try this, okay, work for 2 years, then take a year off, try this. And I mean, I suppose there's many ways to do it, but
I think it really depends on like the monetary thing, like how much it'll cost, and like how long will that money run.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you're starting an internet business, you could do it for very cheap.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, it's not like I'm paying for office space or like a store. Well, I do have to pay
so what are you talking about? What kind of business? Coffee?
Yeah. This is
okay. So I mean, theoretically though, you might need to rent a warehouse. I mean, how many?
It would be.
You're talking about
I would say
beans,
at least,
right?
Yeah. I would say it would be.
Because I don't know. 100 boxes of beans.
Not 100 boxes. 100, like those things, the
cans?
Bags I have. Yeah.
Oh, bags.
Yeah. Do you think I could fit 100 bags
in a garage?
In that box that we have.
Oh, yeah, probably. But you think you'd only have 100 at a time? That's a low number.
Well, to start, right?
Right. Okay, I suppose. Okay,
and it's not like whatchamacallit, I'm selling it all at once, right? So why would you need 500 bags just stored? Although maybe at one point you'll be selling
that's
that
true.
many. You know what I'm
so
saying?
How many? Okay.
So let's say it's 100. 100
how
bags.
much would you buy the bag for? How much would you sell the bag for?
$7 is how much it would cost
to buy the bag.
Each bag.
Each bag, $7. And how much would you sell it for? 10, 15, 20?
20 is how 20 like 25 is how much like the local roasters charge.
Okay.
15 to 20 is how much it is on Amazon. So I would say 15, just because selling it is more important, at least initially.
Okay.
Than the price.
Now, okay, but here's the thing: when you buy the $7 stuff,
yeah,
do they have an MOQ, minimum order quantity? Because a lot of times when you're buying from these industrial guys, they're not gonna sell you 100 at a time. They're gonna sell you like 1,000 at a time.
Yeah. So it would be like by either 5 pounds or 15 pounds. So it's not that much. Like the entry.
Okay. That would equate to like 100 bags. You're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like there's plenty of roasters, like local roasters and stuff. But my argument is like, okay, why can't we make this? Why can't we have the roast date and like the whole experience of having a local roaster, but have them shipped directly? So I guess my market would be Redwood City and Atherton or Menlo Atherton.
Well, couldn't it be anywhere?
And I guess it could be anywhere, but like
I would
still want it to have a quick delivery. Yeah, it could be anywhere. Actually, that's true. Okay. It would be anywhere.
So, okay, so you said $15?
But I would say like 1 day delivery, because like people also like the convenience of, okay, I like to buy on Amazon. I like to just buy my, coffee beans there. Mm-hmm. So that would be, I guess, my entry is like, okay, I'm selling it for the price of, Amazon things, but I'm still having the quality of having the roast dated.
So $15 you sell it for. You make $8 per bag.
You'd still have to pay for like bagging it and stuff like that.
So would you add another $3 from the 7 to make it 10?
Yeah, let's say 10.
Okay, 10. So now you're making $5 a bag.
Yeah.
So you make $500 per. You can store $500 worth of profit, let's say, in the box. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if you were able to make $500 a month, that would be a good. Yeah, you wouldn't have to rent a place immediately.
And that would.
But eventually, you'd want to hold bigger.
Eventually,
amounts.
You'd want to go to that location. But I'm saying like, I guess my thing is like, okay, like, could I bite the bullet of like, okay, of not maybe making a profit initially? Like, how long will I be able to last? Monetarily.
Well, as long you're saying with or without a job.
Without a job.
Oh, without a job.
Yeah.
But something like that, you don't think you could do
on the side? Yeah, I guess.
Because that's like, okay, I mean, on a weekend, that's like receiving the shipment. That's like 1 day worth of work, or it's like half an hour. The guy comes in the truck and you get it and you put it in the thing.
Yeah.
It's like half an hour to an hour of putting it in the box.
Yeah.
From
Well,
there,
the shipping part is the problem.
so how do
Because
you?
what I wanted to do
you
was
drop it off?
have a 1-day delivery in this local area, like in our area.
Can you not create an Amazon shop where then they can
ship it? Yeah.
Prime users can get 1-day shipping.
Right, but like to get.
But then you would be storing it not here, but you'd be storing it in Amazon's facilities.
Oh yeah, I would have to ship it to Amazon and have them.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you pay for it.
But I don't want to. You still have to do monthly payments, and Amazon still takes a cut. Mm-hmm. So if I were to build it, I would want to build it from you. Yeah.
Okay. So how do you handle deliveries then? 1-day deliveries.
I would ship it myself.
You just drive it?
Yeah, that's was my thought. Like, I deliver it myself within 1 day in this area of, Redwood City, and it's not like I have to, whatchamacallit. It's not like I would have to have a crazy amount sold per month.
But why wouldn't
I know initially, or I guess eventually I'd want to do that.
Could you not go through Amazon though? Because I feel like that would be the perfect. Because then you can scale much easily, or because if you're driving yourself, now you have to worry about buying trucks and hiring drivers.
Right.
Whereas if you're doing it through Amazon, they take a cut, but now it's like it doesn't matter if you want to sell 10,000 beans. All you have to do is buy 10,000 beans, have them shipped to Amazon. And then they're still it's gonna be consistently 1-day delivery, assuming they're Amazon Prime members.
So my issue with that would be like the quality control. So I think the reason why people don't have the print date on all the coffees you order on Amazon is because theoretically there could be a coffee bag that's left there for a year or longer, but you really wouldn't know.
But can you work with the vendors for that though?
Because, what do you mean?
So,
here's how it would work, right? Like the vendors would be the ones who are roasting the coffee and bagging it.
Yeah.
They would send it to the Amazon warehouse.
But can't they put the
roast date on it? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then it would be sitting in the Amazon warehouse, and whenever there's a purchase made, they would grab those bags, I guess, and have it shipped out.
Right.
But there's still a pretty large chance of, like, if I'm doing monthly shipments to the Amazon warehouse, that there's a large amount of bags that are just left there.
So you're saying if they stay there too long, then you can't sell them? Yeah,
they would just go. They would just be like the other beans.
You could say the same thing about.
Well, the difference is no one knows, right? So like when I buy something on Amazon, technically it could have been there for 2 years to 3 years, but I wouldn't know that because there's no roast date on it. They just say Best Buy 2025 or whatever.
Right. Well, couldn't you, with your Amazon thing, like set up something where it's like you cut the price for stuff that's like older? Like my point is, even if you had your beans here, that problem will still exist. You'll have to like throw the beans away basically, or sell them for cheaper.
Right.
So if you could, I don't know if you can, but if you could work something out with Amazon where it's like, okay,
hey, can you throw out my beans when?
Yeah, basically. Would that suffice?
Yeah, if I could do that, like tell them like, okay, well, this is how I want it done. I don't want the beans there that long or whatnot.
Right.
But I guess I can do research and find out. But my guess is they wouldn't do that, especially for a vendor of my size. Like their thing is like, no, like. We're already selling beans. Well, if we're not going to make special requests for a person who's selling.
So it would be basically you're shipping them to the trash, basically.
Right, but they have to monitor. They have to like check the bags and see like, okay, it looks like it's been a year since this has been roasted. Let's toss it.
Well, okay, if you order a shipment, the whole batch will have the same roast date, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you would just have it.
So you could just say, at one date, if this date comes up, you on your computer would go and be like, all right, ship these to the trash. and then that would be that.
Yeah.
Um,
I wonder if you can.
Again, I don't know all the details. I think we could do some research on, but that would be, I don't know, it would be you could at least keep trying that. Whereas doing your own trucks, I mean, buying your own truck is like a huge commitment. I mean, even a used one's like $10,000.
Well, so like if you're talking about scaling, you could always have like your own whatchamacallit, your own like small, I guess, storage location here, right? And then to the truck thing, you could also rent that out, like.
But then then like the whole
hire drivers.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have to essentially pay someone's salary.
Well, they have those apps where it's like you pay them to do per job, right?
Oh, like not
Uber Eats, but like similar to that.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm saying like the scaling issue.
Well, in that case, you wouldn't even need your own truck.
Right.
If you did the delivery service thing.
Right.
That might be a way.
Is doing what?
Like using some of these delivery service apps.
Right.
So instead of renting a truck and hiring a driver.
Or driving myself.
Or driving yourself. Because that I don't think you can do. Like that.
Long term, no. 100% I couldn't. But I'm saying like initially, because I don't have like.
Even short term, it's like if you didn't have a job, then maybe. But
yeah.
Again, I would just lean towards, keeping your job and I'm blanking out. I forgot what I was saying. Like making use of like some of these services, basically.
Right, which I would, but I'm saying like the Amazon scalability versus like scaling on your own. I think Amazon 100% you could scale way easier on that. The trade-offs are, I think, which I guess we can find out, is quality control, and then the amount of money that you would make.
Yeah.
Especially at a smaller scale, because again, like we were talking about earlier, there would be a certain point where I wouldn't want to scale anymore. Like,
right.
If I was selling 500 beans a month,
right,
and I could live comfortably, I wouldn't scale further than that.
Right.
And so I'd rather build something to where I can, make enough and not have to.
And I'm pretty sure they have something for expiration stuff, because Amazon also sells food.
Yeah, that's true.
So I can't imagine they don't have something.
Yeah.
I mean, I do get what you're saying about owning.
But that's done by Whole Foods, so they already have that. Like
Amazon Fresh.
Yeah. So
what I'm saying is, I'm sure they have other food related vendors on there. I'm sure it's not all just Whole Foods, right? Like if I
think so. At least for perishable items, I think so. Like I don't think
like Nesco,
non-perishable items, they don't have to worry about the expiration date, so there's no liability issue there. But like with fresh goods, I think they kept that to Amazon Fresh or to Whole Foods.
Yeah.
To avoid that issue in the first place.
Right.
Could you imagine if they gave expired food by accident? Which I guess they could in a store, but there's at least more control on their end. Versus.
Right. Yeah, I would just pick the cheapest method first. So even if you had some delivery apps where you could be like, all right, I got some orders, I need you guys to come pick it up and then deliver it. That would probably be better than
delivering yourself. The only reason I say deliver myself is like, I'll be marketing and like doing other things in the meantime, but like I think I'll have a lot of free time. That's basically what I'm saying. If I was starting from ground zero. Because
if you didn't drive yourself and you kept your job and you hired these services to deliver it for you, you're giving yourself way more chance. Remember, we're talking about this is a marathon.
Yeah.
So you're giving
more stability too, because you're making the income from the office.
Right, but I'm just saying, instead of delivering yourself, I'm saying you're giving yourself a longer chance to potentially succeed, as opposed to renting your own truck and not having a job that pays. Is like your chance to succeed is now a small window that you have to hit. You know what I mean?
I feel like, yeah, I get what you're saying. I still think that there would be a higher chance of me burning out and just giving up and saying like, okay, I'll just stick to, working 9 to 5, because working 9 to 5 and then working 5 to 9, I feel like that wouldn't be in my personality to work that many hours in one day, considering how tired I am already when I.
But again, you don't have to. It's like email work. You don't. All it is like, oh, I look at your phone. I got these orders.
Even office work is that, but you still feel tired from doing that too, right? Like sitting at your desk is just email work. Like you're just working on the computer. It's not like, but even that can still get tiring.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I agree. I think ideally I would want to, continue working at my job, or even find a new one, and then, work on this as a side gig, and then, build it up, and then eventually transition. But my argument is like, okay, if I have enough money to get started and to last for 2 years, until I get. But again, I guess
then it is a sprint. Then is basically what you're going for.
2 years?
Like 2 years is nothing, man.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, when I'm thinking of starting a business, I'm thinking this thing's gonna take me like 15 to 20 years to get going. I don't know if.
But do you think you would have 15 of like you're losing money the whole way through?
Well, because I'm picking software.
I would say
I don't think I'll be losing money. It's just like it'll be time. But yes, I think it'll be 15 years of, I would say, spending, money on.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it'll.
I would say you should spend like 5 years on the business. If there's like you don't see the business like turning a profit, I would say give it up, because.
Well, no, but it's also about pivoting too. It's like you work on something, you're like, this isn't working.
Let's get
like you have to be like, I want to be in this space. That has to be defined.
Yeah.
If you don't like the space, then give it up. But if you're like, okay, let's say we're doing coffee. So it's like you try this coffee thing. It's like, I still want to be in this industry. I want to be in the coffee industry, but this isn't working what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So let's try. Let's move.
Like, I don't want to have my own coffee shop. Let me pivot to roasting.
Exactly. Change direction somehow. I think that's like the major goal. If you're 2 years in and you're like, it's not working, and also I don't like this coffee thing, then by all means give it up. But if you're if you're like, shoot, this isn't working.
I'm saying that part is more of an issue. I guess the interest issue, but that's an issue with pretty much anything you do.
Yeah, the interest thing though, I think you do have to nail down at some point. Like if you keep full, like the interest just drops, like you gotta solve that problem.
Or pivot, right?
Well, I would argue that
like Elon with his PayPal, I'm sure after a while, I think when he sold the company, he probably thought like, okay, I'm not as interested in this anymore. Let me sell it and do something else.
That's true.
Right?
But I guess the difference is like, if you're just starting, that you have like a bunch of money, I would say that's starting something new. He has a bunch of money. He can go start new things. Yeah, you can call it a pivot if you want.
Yeah.
But if every time you change industries, I think the amount of experience you transfer is low. It's like, you might have learned how to do things, but there's always like, industry specific things that you can't apply in other industries. And that's like progress that you're making that you're giving up, which is fine.
Right.
But if you keep doing that, you keep starting from zero, as opposed to in the coffee biz, you're going about your business and it's like, it's not working, but you've learned a lot along the way.
Yeah.
Pivot, you still have that knowledge, And now you're going to be able to use that as you progress in this different direction, but in the same industry.
No, I agree with that. And to add on that, if you like the industry I would be working in is an e-commerce business, right? So I'm selling things on a Shopify account. I'm learning how to remarket and market and, revenue track.
Yeah.
Those skills I think would still be applicable to if I started selling, I don't know.
I agree,
video
because it's
game
like
controllers
Amazon.
or
Yeah.
Okay,
so then I guess what you're defining then is you're not in the coffee industry. You might be selling coffee, but you're in the e-commerce industry.
Right. But it's like more narrowed down, and at least initially would be coffee, because it's more. It's at least entry level costs are low.
Yeah, but then again, you have to define what is your macro level objective here. Are you interested in selling coffee because of the coffee, or are you interested in selling coffee because you're selling things on the internet?
I'm interested in, one, I'm interested in the product because it's mine and I enjoy coffee. But two, I'm using the marketing skills that I actually am passionate about and enjoy. And I guess, like you were saying, e-commerce. So I guess it's a little bit of both. I think it would have to be both, right? Like you couldn't start a business and not be, if like you were just interested in coding, but you were coding on something like, I don't know, like medical related.
But I would argue that, so I'm not interested in, I don't care about coding per se. I'm more interested in the end result. Coding is just a way to get it done. It's like if I was building my box, I mean, I'm not interested in the hammers and the nails and the screwdrivers. Those are just the tools required to like get to the end result. With software, I guess I'm still interested in the gaming platform thing.
Right.
But I know to get a job, I'm not going to be, I need to like learn how to read and write to databases to get some sort of software job. So I guess, let's see, if I were to find what industry I'm in with that gaming platform, it would be, because obviously I will have to pivot at times. I am in the
server based, like AWS, Azure.
Yeah, using those things. So I use those, I would call them microservices.
Right.
But my end product is basically, it's like entertainment, because you're using this to either play games or maybe make movies or maybe create digital ads. Basically a way for end users to create 3D worlds, create 3D assets, program their functionalities. I mean, I suppose that's entertainment. Is it? Yeah, I guess I'm in with that idea.
Communication industry? I don't know.
Yeah, I would say digital entertainment.
Okay.
Would you say that's what video games and movies and digital advertisements are? I mean, the advertisement one, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's entertainment. I mean, that's what ads are, kind of.
Yeah.
People watch ads to like laugh. Like if usually it seems
good
like
ad, I guess.
Yeah, a good ad will try and entertain the person.
Right.
At the same time, they're trying to
sell.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess I'm in the, because again, the using AWS is like, I mean, I guess I'm learning that stuff.
Well, that's the skill that's transferable to all these industries. That's what I'm saying.
That's true. But
like
I'm not.
The e-commerce is the transferable skill, even though I'm selling coffee. The universal skill that I'm having that's applicable to other industries.
Yeah, I agree.
So that for me, like that isn't the issue. Like the issue for me is like the product itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you were doing something where it's like, I don't really care about the thing I'm coding on, eventually you'd want to be out of there. Like, even though you're the skills that you're learning
Mm-hmm.
and things that you're doing are helpful.
Yeah.
But like, like you're saying, the end product, feel like has to be something you're passionate about or enjoy.
Right. I guess I've lost because I don't know how to. I'm confusing myself because I don't know how to then define. I was saying like jumping from industry to industry, but then there's like this whole dynamic of learning, like selling on e-commerce. Like it's a skill that can be transferred throughout different industries.
Right.
But then again, that itself is an industry because you have different eBay, Amazon,
different
custom
platforms.
websites. Yeah.
WordPress.
Right. So I guess the people...
Shopify.
Yeah. So the people who build those tools are in... I mean, they're in the e-commerce industry in a different way. They're the ones who are building the platform. Then there's people who use them to sell their things. Are they in the e-commerce industry?
Are who? The people who are coding it?
No. Two groups. People who are coding it and then people like you who are using it. Are they both in the e-commerce industry, or is just the programmers the ones in the e-commerce industry? Because they're the ones competing with each other. Like, I'm eBay and I'm Amazon and you should sell on my platform. Would you consider the people who use those part of the industry?
I would consider them part of the CRM industry, I would say. The CRM, the product of their CRM is e-commerce.
Right.
Right? Like they could theoretically code a different platform for managing truck drivers.
The coders could.
The coders can, yeah.
But what about the customers?
The specific
the
product they're pushing is e-commerce. E-commerce CRM. Customer is what I would say. I mean, I don't know. I guess you could say they're part of the e-commerce industry.
Well, it's already 12 minutes past, so we should. Well, maybe we'll pick this up the next time. Where are we leaving off? Let's say, how do we define an industry? We'll leave that for the next one.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for tuning in, and until next time, 'Ciao.